Hey everyone, I am Jessica from Willowvine's Intuitive Vibes, and I'm here to do a collective message. Select the videos, comment, share, and don't forget to subscribe to join the tribe. We're just gonna cleanse this space a little bit and welcome in some positive, loving energy. But you know, sometimes even negative messages or warnings can be seen as positive because it can help you avoid a situation. Because I was thinking of this the other day where I think I was having a conversation with my daughter. I can't remember when it was or whatever, but it was about confirmations. You know, it's good to get confirmations on spiritual messages and hits, like psychic hits and stuff, if they're positive. If they're negative, you don't always want the confirmation, you know, because you want to listen to the warning and avoid the situation, basically. So some of you, that could have happened with some of you where you had this feeling that something not so great was going to happen, and you listened to yourself and then nothing bad happened. Don't question it and go, well, was I right? Was I wrong? It doesn't matter. You avoided a problem either way, whether you were right or wrong, and that's the point of intuition. So anyways, I do have a couple cards pulled, but I kept staring at the smoky quartz. And this is about protection, grounding energy, and I was just, you know, lighting the Palo Santos and talking about how our intuition is our inner, like, warning system. It is for protection. So protection's very significant here. I feel like whoever I'm speaking to is highly protected, and you're aware of that. You not only practice protection for yourself, cleansing, clearing, and all that. Some of you do like protection rituals and things, but regardless, you just know that you're protected in the physical realm and energetically. And if you don't feel like you are, maybe start implementing some of those practices into your daily life. But I was very drawn to this. You kept your composure in a situation when most people wouldn't have. And I'm not saying you keep your composure all the time, constantly, because we all reach a breaking point at, you know, different times in our lives and different moments, depending on the situations. But I feel like whatever this situation was for you, you handled it. You handled it with love, because that popped in my head. But you handled it in a very practical, logical way. And I don't feel like the people in this situation would have handled whatever was going on for you in the same way, because they're just a muggle. It's like giving me the left brain energy, because we have the One of Swords, which is intellect, and it feels very closed-minded. I feel like there is someone in this energy who is a know-it-all, and it's because of what they've read online, what they've read in books, research they've done, classes they've taken, whatever. Like, for example, I don't know why this is popping in. Maybe some of you are looking into Reiki. You want to see a Reiki healer, or you want to become one. But regardless, with what I was just saying, like, once you take a class, you know everything. Some people do think that way, or maybe they take many, because you can become a Reiki master. And when I was looking into it, like the process of that, it depends on the Reiki master that's like initiating you into everything and teaching you, because some don't really go that in depth. They go over the basics, blah blah blah, here you go at the end, here's your certificate, basically you're one of us now, kind of thing. And then there are other Reiki masters who, you know, do the deep dive and really make you do the energy work before you can elevate, you know, go up a level, because isn't there like 3 levels to it or something? But regardless of how many, my point here is, I guess it's with any profession, but Reiki was popping up where someone went to school for something and now they just know everything, no matter what it is, about the subject. It does feel paranormal. or spiritually based. So that's probably why Reiki was coming up as an example. But this is another good example of how just because somebody has a certificate, just because somebody has a title or whatever, doesn't mean that they know what they're talking about or they know what they're doing 100%. It doesn't mean they're the best either. This doesn't feel like a competition, at least on your end. It feels more like just because you see a certificate doesn't mean someone's knowledgeable in something, even though they claim to be. Because I feel like somebody was acting like they knew more about a certain subject matter than they really do. Like they were pretending to be this major guru or the best at whatever this is. Because, for example, I have my hair license, and I didn't know this until I went to hair school. But for the test, like to test out to get your license after school and whatever, you have to get, there's a certain percentage you have to get, and I think you have to pass with like a C or something. I can't remember what the exact grade is on the practical and on the state exam, because it's state law and that's different for every state. And then the practical exam, which you only really do once, I believe. So if you relocate to another state, you just have to take the state law exam for them to get your license in that area. Things could have changed by then. That was back in 2010 for me, just saying. But anyways, you've got a bunch of people in that class, and I got a 99 on my practical, and I would have got 100, but I dropped a perm rod, so I didn't get 100. So I got a 99. I took a point away, basically, because a perm rod fell on the floor. But regardless, there were other students in the class that just passed by the skin of their teeth, but we could have both worked at the same place. And clients don't know that. Like, they have no clue what you scored highest in, what your talents are, if you're really good at what you do. You know what I mean? And that same example can be used for like any trade, you know, electricians, contractors, whatever. It's like there are some that do hack jobs and claim that they're God's gift, and there are others that do very professional, beautiful work. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter the profession. There's someone here is claiming to be a know-it-all in whatever field this is, and it does feel spiritual. Anyone who seems high and mighty and a know-it-all like that, like they won't take corrective criticism, or not even that. They won't veer off from their train of thought, like whatever their opinion is, whatever they know to be true. When they're close-minded like that, be weary of people like that, because the information that they're sharing is probably outdated at best, if even accurate, with whatever this is. I don't know what we're talking about exactly, but then we have ghosts and the Five of Wands, rivalry with that. And haunted, someone is haunted by their past with the Queen of Pentacles, ambition. Someone did too much here. They probably caused some problems for another person, and they're being haunted by their actions, by what was said and done, ultimately. Someone thought they knew everything about you, about a situation, about whatever was going on here, but they actually didn't. They didn't have a clue, and I want to say they ran with a lie. They based their judgments and actions off from false information, which caused some problems. Because for some reason, okay. In this energy, this Queen of Pentacles, I feel like this person ran with some type of information. Like they were determined to find out something about you, or to figure something out. I just heard they were determined to ruin you. So they were determined to stop something for you. I just don't feel like it worked out. They didn't know who they were up against or what they were up against, because they're just a muggle. They didn't have all the information, because that's what this is making me think of. So like with the word muggle, when it comes from Harry Potter and whatever, a muggle is just a person. They're not a wizard or witch or anything like that. They don't dabble in that stuff. They don't have those natural abilities or talents. So this person is not spiritually gifted, even if they claim to be. I know that everyone has that capability, but you have to be woke to it and work with it. And it comes in phases. It doesn't just all come at once. It's like classes. You gotta graduate. Spiritually speaking, you don't get a certificate at the end for it, but you have a better understanding because it's ultimately for you, not for anyone else when you go through the awakening and stuff like that. This person didn't. So they didn't know what they were up against because they didn't have a clue of what was really happening or going on in the situation. And all they did was basically add salt to the wound or gas to the fucking fire. Yeah, so somebody basically created a problem through being nosy. They could have been nosy on a computer or a laptop, or that's significant here. So something to do with the internet as well. I just heard, you think you know me, but you don't. So this person might have thought they had you pegged. They know you to a T, and they don't know shit about you in all actuality. You think you know me, but you don't. Yeah, well, if you think about like the internet and like social media and stuff, that's surface level knowledge about someone. So if you click on their profile or whatever, you might know what state they live in, what country, what city, town, whatever. You might know how old they are, maybe their birthday. It depends on, who puts that information out there, because some people do and some people don't. But this is like the basic information you can find out about a specific person plus their posts. So it's like, okay, they're interested in this because they post that a lot, or they're dating so-and-so, it seems this way or that way. But you don't really know the details behind it, and you can't judge a book by its cover. You can't judge a person by their social media, because there's so much more than what people say and share and show to people versus, I don't know, this person just thought that, like, I don't know, maybe they did some computer fucking research and just pegged your ass, and they were just it was all wrong. It was all wrong. Whatever it was all wrong, is what I want to keep saying. So someone got a piss poor impression, or they have a piss poor understanding of someone. What's making me think of now is like with witches and stuff. A lot of times, people who practice, not everyone shares what they do. Because, I mean, if you go through history, witches had to keep a lot of secrets. They had to do their practices. They had to hide their practices, their beliefs, all of it, because they would have been persecuted. And they wouldn't be here anymore. And that has happened, just look through history. But even today, even though we're a more outspoken community, and how do I want to say it? We can share more, and we have the freedom of speech, basically, in some areas. Some areas you still don't. It just depends on where you're at, where you live. I guess that can pertain to the closed-mindedness here, too, because if you think about it, I'm from the U.S., and I could sit here and just assume that freedom of speech, because of the U.S., everyone has that capability. They don't. You go to other countries, and they have to be secretive with certain things, with their spiritual gifts, with paranormal activity, with witchcraft, with whatever. You know what I mean? With anything that goes against what's common or what's supposed to be in that area is usually hidden. And that still happens to this day in certain countries. But that would be something you wouldn't think about, that you wouldn't know unless you looked deeper into something, unless you went outside the box, you know what I mean? If you thought outside the box. Someone didn't do that. I almost feel like this revolves all around me, or someone's thinking that whatever you're saying and doing is all about you. And I've had people comment in the past, at least for me personally, like on this channel or my other one, which I haven't posted on in a long time. I probably should. Anyways, moving on from that. I've had people comment before and be like, why are you reading about yourself? Because I share personal experiences, because when the energy fits, it's a good example, and that's all it is. That's why I explain that over and over and over and over. A lot of you understand that, some people don't. Some new people might miss the proper information if they're thinking I'm just talking about myself, you know what I mean? But that's happened in the past, and I kind of feel that energy here no matter what we're talking about. Like someone thought you were just all about you, had not, or you were either speaking all about you, your situation, or about them, but it was beyond that. It's like the universe doesn't revolve around you, mofo. Like that kind of the kind of energy, but someone was thinking that it did. Like everything you were saying and doing was pertaining to them or to yourself, something. But it wasn't. It goes beyond that. And that's coming from like this computer laptop energy. WX, kindness and child could be significant in here too. Showing kindness to somebody's child. Oh, innocence. Showing kindness to a child, to children. Someone was very inexperienced with something they thought they knew a lot about. Okay. Yeah, somebody was inexperienced at something, but they were claiming to have more experience or to be better at something than they really are, to be more knowledgeable than they really are. I mean, I don't know what field this is in, but it does feel spiritual. It feels like paranormal community, something like that. With esoterical things, we'll just leave it at that, because, I mean, I've looked into multiple avenues of multiple. I've looked into different metaphysical things, subject matters, and there are at certain times I'm drawn to certain things, and that's kind of how I learn it. And the more you practice and utilize whatever you're doing, the better you get and the more knowledge you have and blah blah and whatever. But there's so many areas that I'm not well versed in, and I will boldly say it because I'm not. And if I choose to learn it and dive deeper into it, I will, depending on what it is. You know what I mean? But there's someone here that would never admit that. Like, they automatically know everything. There's a know-it-all here. They automatically just know. Like, yep, I know it, I know it, I know it. But they don't. They don't have a fucking clue. And when people think that way, they can give really bad advice. Because it's not coming from a place of intelligence, of intellect, I guess, of knowledge. It's just coming from opinion. It's opinion based. Okay, it's coming up for a reason, so maybe know the difference between advice or information that's opinion based versus factual. Like, you can't discredit facts, but you can opinions, because everyone's got one. They're all different. You know what I mean? Because now it's making me think of like scientific facts. So if we're talking about the metaphysical and spiritual things like energy, well, if we're talking about energy, we'll label it that way. You can't see it. I mean, sometimes you can, especially if you focus, and like if you're into viewing auras and stuff like that, you can actually see just the energy outside. Have any of you just ever sat there and like it's the blue skies, you're not staring at the sun or anything, and you're just kind of staring off into space, like not blinking, just kind of staring, and then you see the swirls of, like, I don't know how to explain it, but that's how I see it, and it's energy. And I always wondered what it was before I looked into some of that, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's energy. But sometimes it would sparkle, but it would always be like it was moving. And I'm like, are those bugs? No, because sometimes they are. Depending on where you live, you can get like the clouds of the little bugs. That's what I'm talking about. It literally just looks like swirls, just of energy. And it's kind of translucent. You can't see it if you just sit there and blink and look. You have to actually just like focus beyond your vision, I guess. But that's how you see auras and shit too. There's tricks to that, but um some people would be like, oh, that's a bunch of bullshit, you know, like that's just your eyes fucking with you or whatever. But there's scientific fact to back up these claims, you know, like when it pertains to the energy that we're comprised of, that objects are comprised of, you know what I mean? So it's not too far-fetched, I guess. I don't know why I'm saying that. So there's something here that is, what is it, undisputable? That was questioned prior. Like, it's undeniable. Like, okay, yeah, that's true. So maybe there's a non-believer that's turning into a believer of ghosts and the paranormal. It feels like a lot of little things adding up to something big. And not just putting puzzle pieces together. Like when I was talking about confirmations, in the very beginning, I started with sometimes you don't want the confirmation because if it's a warning, you want to just avoid it and good. Who cares who's right or wrong? It didn't happen, you know, which is always good. But when it's something positive or just mundane, that doesn't really amount to anything, it's cool to get the validation if you're getting intuitive hits, psychic visions, dreams. I've been having dreams like crazy lately. This last full moon, holy shit. Leading up to it, and still last night, vivid, weird dreams. Like some of them I remember, but not all of them. So I feel like the ones I remember that stand out to me the most are most important, which is usually how that works. So pay attention to those types of dreams for yourself. I'm not sharing these dreams in here because it's not relevant to this message. It's just things like that. So and telepathic communication. Some of you could be receiving validation of these things happening to you, and you could have been receiving these confirmations and validations or whatever over time, and it's all kind of adding up together. And as it becomes more clear to you, as it adds up, like as you put it all together, it's like, yeah, okay, well, that is really happening for me, or that's really happening with so and so. Because this could be from an outsider standpoint where they're looking at you and they're like, yeah, okay, I really think so and so can read minds. I really think so and so can predict things because it keeps happening. It keeps happening. There we go. How can you explain it if it just keeps happening? Some things just can't be explained. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Because someone's just a muggle. They don't understand. Because it's not happening to them. It's just not their path, especially if they choose not to be open to things like that. But these confirmations could be as simple as, like, for example, this morning I woke up and I'm like, oh, I want a sandwich. And then I told myself, I'm like, no, I don't, because I don't eat bread. I rarely do. On occasion, if it's really, really good, I don't call it a cheat day. I just don't eat it because it messes with my stomach so bad. Like, it must be a gluten thing. I'm not sure. Gluten and sugar just, they don't mix with me well. But anyways, I'll have it every now and again because YOLO, you know what I mean? But on the regular, no, because I know what it does to my body and it fucking hurts. It sucks. So I woke up thinking that, and I'm just like, why am I thinking that? You know, whatever. And then I go downstairs and my daughter's sitting there. She just made a sandwich and she's sitting there eating it. And I'm like, oh, must have been in her energy. Little things like that happen to me all the time. And I'm only mentioning it because I feel like that those are the little confirmations that you're getting in your own world. And they seem like insignificant. Like, why? Okay, like, I picked up on what you're eating and it made me want to eat it. Whoop-de-doo. It's just a confirmation for you that you're tapped in on who you're connecting to, that you're connecting to the people around you. if that applies. That's not for everyone, because there is someone in this energy that can do that. I don't feel like they ever claimed that they could, though. I feel like they just lacked understanding. So this isn't like a copycat, someone who's pretending. I don't feel that. I feel like they wish that they were able to do that. They don't understand it. They didn't understand it. Still probably don't. So it's almost like, well, if it can't happen to me and I don't know how this is, I don't know how it works. There's no scientific proof. It's not true. So you're lying. That's how someone was viewing you if you're in that spiritual energy. And it did cause some type of conflict. There's something to do with a host, which is making me think of like possessions and stuff, but not to the extreme of like Hollywood. Is that what I'm thinking of? Because when I do mediumship and spirit comes through, sometimes I don't want to call myself a full trans medium, but I know that I am in a sense, I guess you could say, because I'm a conduit, and when they come through, sometimes it's like they're sitting right beside me, just telling me, talking to me, and I'll relay whatever message. Like when my guides are talking to me and sharing these messages with you and stuff, the majority of the time, it comes in through my thought voice, or an image in my mind. I don't see a person or anything like that, because it's not someone's loved one whispering in my ear. But when that happens, they come through if they want to, even in general readings, if they know that you're going to see it, whoever's tied to said person or whatever. I've had some of my loved ones butt into, or people that I knew in life come through with certain messages as well, but they come through differently. Like I see them differently. Usually it's in my mind and I can sense them, and they'll kind of talk like either in thought voice, or I'll actually hear it like someone's whispering in my ear. It just depends on how they do it, and it is different every time. But where was I going with that? Oh, the trans medium thing. Sometimes they'll channel through me, and it's like my throat chakra will start getting scratchy, or I'll start choking and coughing, and then I will go on a spiel and talk about whatever. And when that happens, I don't remember what I said. And I'll rewatch a video and be like, oh, yep, there's the moment it happened. Like I can pinpoint it within myself. Most people can't. But that happens. But it's not like I'm sitting here welcoming in all kinds of different people to come channel through me. It doesn't happen all the time. It did happen when my energy wasn't protected as much as it is now. Like when I was first starting out, the trans mediumship was happening a lot, and I didn't know what it was. I didn't understand it at the time. I do now. I have a better understanding, not even a full understanding of it, because I don't work with that ability much, because it's very intense and it's extremely draining, like extremely draining. So that's, maybe something I'll look into working with more, but I can do it. It happens here and there. I allow it sometimes, but it's not a constant thing. And know that whatever spiritual gifts and abilities that you do have, especially when we're talking about spirits, like ghost people on the other side, whatever, you have the ability to work with them in the way that you feel most comfortable. And if they cross the line, you can block it out, I just heard be careful what you wish for. So I'm not sure what that's about. Transformation, the death energy, the death card. We got death everywhere. Shifting perspectives and a spiritual upgrade. So some of you are receiving a spiritual upgrade because your perspective is changing on, whatever your belief system is, whatever's gone on, whatever experiences you've had, based off from the experiences you've had. I do feel like there's a spiritual upgrade. There is someone here who's jealous that they can't do what you do. I mean, true psychics, mediums, spiritualists, whatever label, healers, light workers, whatever label you want to put on that as a whole, people who are truly gifted in that way, they don't compete with each other, because we know as a collective that we all have different abilities, or we utilize different abilities. Even if you have all 5 clairs, even if you are that open, there are going to be some that are stronger than others that you're going to work with more. That comes more naturally to you. You know what I mean? There are certain abilities that just come more natural to this person versus that person. And I feel like I'm talking to somebody where multiple gifts come natural to you, and it's not fair. Hell, even just having one gift wouldn't be fair to this person, because this person they don't have these abilities. They can't do it, but they want to. Oh, that might be where the whole be careful what you wish for thing's coming in. Because yes, it's a blessing, it's beautiful, it's a wonderful experience to deal with the other side, and to get the information that you get and the feelings that you get and the direction, the guidance, the love, the support, the protection. It's amazing. I love it. I love it. I wouldn't take it back. But there are some scary moments. There are some draining moments. You can get mentally, emotionally exhausted, because this is literally a full-time job. Even when I'm not recording, Spirit still delivers signs and messages, even if they're not for me. You know, it's like there are times where I'll hear, like, someone will say in my mind, like, oh, we're going to give you the day off today, or you need to rest because tomorrow some information is going to be coming through. Like, they give me a heads up on stuff like that, so it's kind of nice. Like, I do get the breaks in there, because they know what I can handle and what I can't, and I know what I can handle and what I can't. And if there's something important that needs to come through for another person or for myself or whatever, they want to know that I'm at my best and, you know, in a clear space to receive those messages, because they're important. If it's something stupid, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? But be careful what you wish for, because there's a downside to everything. There's pros and cons to everything. Doesn't matter what you're doing. Like, I've always been able to tap into other people's energies, even though years and years ago I didn't understand that. Like, I really didn't. I didn't look into it. I didn't even know that was a thing back then. I really didn't. I had these abilities, and it was confusing, and like, I don't know, it's like a WTF moment all the time. Like, what? I don't know. Like, I would question everything and everyone. It's no wonder I had so many trust issues long time ago. But anyways, where was I going with that? Oh, with, like, when I went to hair school and stuff. I will do hair for friends and family, myself, and whatever. But I don't want to work in a salon because I don't like touching people. And it's not because I think people are gross. It's not that. It's, if I'm standing there for a long time doing your hair, doing whatever, I'm going to be in your energy because I'm touching you. I do psychometry as well, and I don't always like it. I mean, sometimes it's beneficial, because if someone's worried that their hair's not going to look the way that they want it, or if they're thinking, oh, can you trim my eyebrows? Can you do this or whatever? That's usually from men. I can pick up on it, and I know what they want, because it's like they're telling me telepathically what they want. And I mean, obviously I would verbalize it, because it was just, at the time, it was just a thought in my head. I didn't understand it. You know what I mean? I'd be like, I guess, is this how you want it? Oh, yep, that's exactly how I want it. That kind of thing. So it was beneficial there, but it was draining. I would get so tired, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm so fucking young. Why am I so tired? Like, I'm not that, out of shape, you know what I mean? It's not like I was running a marathon or anything. It was energy work, and I didn't even know I was doing it. So that's why I don't work in a salon, because it can be overwhelming, because I'm really close to people doing that. You know what I mean? You don't have the space because you have to touch the person. But I didn't understand why it was so difficult for me until later on. So maybe some of you have experiences like that where you're finally seeing why certain jobs didn't work out for you, or why you felt compelled to do or try whatever. Could have been a spiritual thing for you. That most people don't understand, and someone specific in this energy didn't understand. I feel like they're starting to see. Okay, because now I'm thinking about, I heard the information doesn't come from me, which is true. The messages I deliver, they don't come from me. I don't know you. I don't know who the hell I'm reading for. I don't know anything about anyone's lives. I just don't. I keep to myself anyways. Spirit tells me things and I deliver it, basically. I see it and say it and whatever. So if I'm quote unquote off the clock and I'm not in the space, like I haven't opened up and like saying, hey team, let's work, let's do this, I'm probably not going to know much about you unless there's something important I need to know, like you're going to cause harm to me, you know, like other than that, I probably won't know anything about you unless we're doing a session, you know what I mean? The only times it's come up, why am I saying this? Maybe somebody wants to understand this better, because there's a fear factor in here of a high priestess energy. So there's someone who fears a psychic or, you know, medium, whatever. Someone, a light worker. They fear what you know. Like, if I'm around you, you're going to know all my dirty little secrets. That's not true. It really isn't. Because even with telepathy, you don't read every thought in someone's head. I really don't know how it works fully. I don't think anyone does. Just certain things. It's when you're on that frequency with somebody. And you can get on it, but how do I want to say this? Someone's fearful of what you know or what you could know about them. That's why they don't want you around. But that's not always how it works, because I said, like, when I'm off the clock. Because I have a little, it's a ritual basically that I do. Like, Spirit knows when I'm setting up to do a reading, because, you know, I do the same things. I welcome them in and cleanse and do all that. You know, I have my little ritual, which each person who does this type of thing, they have their own ritual. They do their own little thing. It's just your way of opening the door with Spirit. Like, okay, we're open to this and now we're not. So we're going to open the session, we're going to close it. And that's when they know to work with you. Someone must be wondering about this. That's probably why I'm saying it. But what I hate is when, you know, people ask me what I do for work and I tell them, and then they're like, oh, what's my future? Oh, what's going to go on here? And I'm like, get a reading. If you want me to talk to you about it, you're going to have to pay me. We're going to have a session. But I don't know on the spot. It's not just an instant, I know everything about you. I would have to sit there and like clear my energy and get into like a meditative state and like hold your hand or an object, especially if there's multiple people around, because that's too much energy. I can't focus on one person, because what if that person's asking me something and then I get information about Joe Schmo sitting over there, you know what I mean? There's more to it than just, oh, if you're legitimate, you'll be able to tell me everything I need to know. That's not how it fucking works. Anyone who has these capabilities understands that, you know? But there's someone here that doesn't understand that, or didn't. I don't think they do. Like, if you can't tell me this, that, and the other, you're a phony. That's okay. You don't have to prove yourself to anyone. Let them think it. But someone caused problems because of this. Maybe they were slandering your name, because it's rivalry, like, so-and-so doesn't know what they're talking about, like they couldn't even answer this question, blah blah blah, whatever shit like that. It's about timing too, and Spirit doesn't cater to your ass, especially if you have shit intentions, which is probably what this person had, because it feels like they do, or they don't have the best of intentions towards you, at least. It's like, why should we give you what you want when you're just gonna turn it around into something stupid, you know? That's kind of what it feels like. It's like that energy of, talking to a wall. You're not going to get anywhere with whoever this person is. Spirit knows that you know it. So why try to prove yourself? Why even bother? There's nothing you need to know. Like, this person, there's nothing this person needs to know. And it has nothing to do with your abilities. It has to do with the fact that there's no news for them. And I've had that happen before, where twice. There was one time I had to refund someone because when I started to look into their energy, I couldn't get anything. And I feel like it was because they weren't open to it. So they were probably a skeptic, and maybe they were trying to test me, or even if it had nothing to do with me, they just weren't open to receiving information, and nothing came through. Like, I tried and tried and tried so many different times to tap into that person's energy because they paid me to do it, and I ended up having to send their money back and be like, I'm sorry, I can't read you. I don't know why. I just can't. And that was that for that one. And I do feel like it had to do with them being closed off to the information. But regardless, then the other one, there was someone who didn't want me to know something. And it's funny because I started getting these like nervous feelings. And I was in person with this one, holding his hand, and I'm like, I'm getting a pit in my stomach just remembering. Like, it just went, and I had this sinking feeling, and I'm like, it didn't feel good. I felt nervous, and I felt like creepy, like bad intentions, not a good person, that type of shit. But I wasn't seeing anything, and that was all I was getting. And then I was met with black, just a wall of black. It was just pitch black, like I was in a dark room, no lights, nothing. And I'm like, there's fucking nothing here. So I was like, either this person's void of emotion, they got nothing, or they're completely walled off, blocked off to this, don't want me to see something. That can also happen with people who use substances, because they can create that wall within themselves as well. But those are the only two times I wasn't able to read someone when they asked me to. Have any of you encountered that? And if you do, don't think it's because your gifts are going away or you're not good at what you do. It has to do with the energetic link between you and whoever you're reading for. Patient heart. Be patient with yourself. Move forward and grow. I feel like that's what you're doing. As you move forward, you're growing, evolving, expanding on your talents, on whatever this is for you. Because, practice makes perfect, for one, no matter what we're doing. Yeah, somebody is haunted by how they treated you, by what happened here, because you're just moving forward, and you're fucking glowing, is what I want to say. Like, your aura is glowing. Even if the general public can't see auras, there's something different about you. Like, you can always see the light in someone's eyes. Like, they appear different, they act different, you can see. Like, for example, with people who either have an illness and then they recover, or they have an addiction and then they recover, you can tell the difference. Like, I remember, hell, just with my own addiction, and with my sister. I was going to use my sister as an example, but I could use myself too, because I'm an ex-addict. Most of you know that. And looking back, because at the time, the only time I noticed I had a major problem was when I put on a pair of pants that I've had since I was a fucking teenager, and they fit me back then, but they fit me in all the right places. It wasn't too big, too small. They were falling off me. That I'd never been that small, and I'm like, uh-oh, like, this is bad. I got a fucking problem, man. So it was kind of like the pants were a wake-up call for me in that moment. But looking back on pictures, just my face, I was like, the light isn't there. Like, I was a shadow of a person, and I look completely different now than I did then. And same with my sister. Like, there's it's not just pictures, but I remember it in person. Like, I was like, you're not my sister. Like, the person she was at that time, not just appearance wise, but you could just see the light was gone. There was nothing. She wasn't there. I'm like, she's not my sister. I don't know who this person is, but it's not her. And then through recovery, the light came back. And I'm like, there she is. My sister's back. So, like, it's something like that with the glow up that I'm talking about, where other people notice, even if they don't know, even if they didn't know you prior. But there's someone here who's seeing that, and they're haunted by their actions because they can't be part of your journey because of what was said and done here. Whoa, well, that's coming out fast, huh? Enchanter, self-evaluation, awakening, purpose. Well, you're awakening to your purpose, but somebody has to look in the mirror and evaluate their own actions, which is not a bad thing to do. It's hard to do. Meadow, success, blessings, and positivity. Yeah, because there's beautiful shit coming in for someone. This is awesome. Like, you've put the work in. You've come a long way, is what I heard. You've come a long way. You've learned a lot. So whatever you're going to be blessed with, whatever this is, whatever this beautiful abundance is, you've earned it. And nobody can take this from you, no matter how hard they fucking try. Like, whatever this is yours. It's like it's your birthright, basically, is what it feels like. It's your purpose. I just heard you went down the rabbit hole and you came out the other side. Sometimes it's scary to do that. Because, like, if you think of Alice in Wonderland, when she goes down the rabbit hole, it's kind of scary to her. It's a whole new world. She's like, I don't know what this is. Like, I mean, when it comes to ghosts and spirituality and stuff like that, yeah, it is a whole new world. It can be hard to understand at first, but over time, you learn. Over time, you grow, you evolve. But this feels like having to face yourself, your shadow side, your inner demons, you know, not just question reality, but question everything you were taught and kind of unlearn it and relearn things. There's a process here is what I'm feeling. But like what I was saying with Alice, she was kind of scared and confused because it's like up is down and what the fuck is this? What's going on? Everything's just all twisted and weird. But it was all stuff within her that she had to figure out in order to get out of it, basically, to get out of the doldrums, to get out of that closed to the box, you know, that she was in. Because I think at the end, didn't she, at least in the one with the real live action one or whatever, didn't she fight like the dragon or the queen or something at the end? Which would be like fighting off your inner demons, facing your fears and conquering them, is what I'm feeling here, which is why success is here. I feel like you had to face some fears that weren't even your own at times. But you came out unscathed. That's awesome. There's something significant to do with dragonflies as well, for some of you. Spirit guides, assistants, divine guidance, signs and synchronicity, guardian. You can't make this shit up. That's what I was talking about. Talking to your spirit team. You're spiritually guided to go through this process, and you were being helped. You weren't alone in any of this, through any of this. There's something significant to do with someone's sister, sis. So it could either be your biological sister, a half-sister, or someone you consider a sister. You know how you can have best friends that are like a sister to you kind of thing? Wasn't being guided. Okay, what? Moon, intuition. Subconscious, emotions, fear, deceit. Things are not as they appear. And then toxicity under that. Okay, I do feel like you're being spiritually guided and assisted through your transitions in this, through your transformations, what I should say, through this process. But there's a situation here that was not spirit. That could be where some confusing energy's coming in. I mean, because the rabbit hole's pretty confusing. Because I was thinking of cryptic messages and having to try to figure out riddles and rhymes and shit, because that's kind of what Alice in Wonderland's all about. It's just a big clusterfuck, ultimately. But it's a planned clusterfuck. If you think about it, it's structured. Okay, so you were being guided in a certain sense, but in this situation with whoever this person is who caused problems, who's haunted by their past, they orchestrated something that was not divinely guided. That was somebody else, and your intuition was picking up on this. I do feel like you were being helped by your guides at the time, but what was being shown to you or put in your face or what was happening wasn't them. Like, that wasn't a spiritual thing. It was a person causing problems kind of thing with whatever that is. So, I mean, I don't know, it could be copycat. I'm not going to dive into what it could be. It's just somebody used your talents, your gifts, your abilities against you, is what I want to say, because the toxicity. Addictions. Patterns, energy vampire, trauma bonds stuck. This person just couldn't get past something from the past. And they caused problems. I don't know, from this person's perspective at the time, it feels funny and kind of harmless because they don't believe. It would be like somebody going, I don't know, I just heard release sounds. I don't know, but regardless, it would be like somebody going, okay, I'm going to summon the devil, or I'm going to do some like necromancy or something creepy, you know, something they shouldn't be dabbling in because they don't understand it, because they don't believe. So it'd be like, this is funny, this will be fucking hilarious, and I'm gonna send it to so and so, and they do that, and all hell breaks loose, and it's like, that can't be a coincidence, because it isn't a coincidence. They just because they didn't believe doesn't mean that shit didn't affect another person, didn't happen. Yeah. Something along those lines. Alright, let's get one of these. I'm gonna go because this is really long. I feel like I've been on here forever. So somebody binge watching something. I just heard this one really takes the cake. Someone did too much. This one really takes the cake. Okay. Honest echoes. On the mend. Well, you've healed from this situation, or you are. Listen to the whispers of your heart, for you know the whole truth. Okay, so I guess I gotta read both of them. So listen to the whispers of your heart, because your intuition, you already know. You know the truth about the situation, the person, whatever happened, whatever happened here. And it's like, it's not even, I don't even feel like you need to confront anyone or get confirmation or anything. You already have that for yourself. That's why this transformation is occurring regardless of whatever the hell this person thinks, wants, or whatever's. You're protected. You're protected. You're staying grounded. You're handling the situation properly. And you got success and abundance coming in. You got blessings coming in big time. Big motherfucking blessings. And you probably feel it coming. Unwavering faith. Stand firm in your beliefs. Your steadfast spirit guides you through uncertainty. Yeah. So that's what your guides and ancestors and angels were guiding you through, supporting you through, was your uncertainty. Was they were trying to provide clarity regarding this situation, regarding whatever's going on, anything you were questioning, whatever was cryptic and confusing. They were trying to guide you through that. Like, don't second guess yourself. You're doing a good job. It's not this, it's that. You know what I mean? Your intuition always knew the truth. It's usually the first thing you think of. The first thing that comes to mind when you're looking into something is usually the truth. And I feel like you already knew it. You probably just questioned things because this feels a little confusing. But Spirit was there to guide you through that. But yeah, whatever someone sent your way, or however they were attacking you, messing with you, causing some type of issue for you, that wasn't Spirit. They weren't guiding you to do that. Somebody else, something else, put on by someone else. But that's what I have for you guys. Hopefully it helps. Hopefully it makes sense. I know that these spiritual reads don't make sense for everyone, but they come out for whoever needs to hear them at any given time. And I do, hopefully later on, I don't know if it'll be today or not, but I do want to do a more focused reading, like, I don't know, maybe love focus or career or something, like where I have a focus in mind and see what comes up. Because these are general, so it's like whatever comes out kind of thing. And I kind of want to see what we can look at directly. If any of you have any areas of your life that you would like to look into, like love, money, life path, health, health, wealth, whatever, just comment it and I'll take a peek at that and see if we can look into a specific subject. But anyways, love you guys. Peace.